Am I live or what? Welcome, everybody. I think I'm live, although I can't find it yet. Been having some technical difficulties getting started here. Let's see. Why can I not find this stream? I don't think it says that I'm live here. Oh yeah, I am live. Nice. Welcome, everybody. This is the Space Water Podcast, where we dive into the sound of the light. Of course, my name is Rock Castaldo, and you can find the Space Water Podcast right here on Exploring the Ka on YouTube. You can find my groundbreaking research and all my exclusive research and products at patreon.com/the mystical spiral, as well as our incredible website, the mystical spiral store.com, which this podcast, of course, is sponsored by. You guys can find that we have an amazing, and by the way, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope everybody is having a safe and wonderful night out there tonight. I cannot get the chat room up, so I do not know if you guys are here with me right now. Hold on. Hopefully, I get you guys up soon because I can't find the chat room here anywhere. This does suck. Where is the chat room? There, I got it. Finally. All right. Magic Micah. Wifey's in the house. Gemini Moon. Indigo 1111. Thank you guys for joining us. Yeah, I got the professional Blue Yeti mic on, so we're good with the audio. And it's raining out right now outside here in the lower Hudson Valley of New York. We're right here on the phantom shores of the ghostly Hudson River. I had to go outside just before and take in my daughter's bike and my drill and some copper that I had underneath the porch because it started pouring out here. And yes, we have exclusive holiday sales up 15% off. Coupon codes is up, Awaken 15. Go to the website. You can get the coupon code and click on it right up here. You see, it gets larger. Shout out to my wifey, Magic Micah, for making this amazing website for us. So, guys, give Magic Micah in the chat room a shout out because she spent a lot of time helping me with this website and getting it ready for you. She's the one that puts the codes up and everything right there. Uh Incredible. So guys, not only do we have sales up there, but we have also 15% off the already discounted items up there. So you got some items that are like 50% off up there, huge sales, and then you even get 15% off of that if you use the coupon code, right? So incredible new items getting put up there every day. Check out this bad boy, all hand carved by the Mystical Spiral team. Look at the rainbow right on the pineal gland. This is Himalayan quartz. Is this calling you to be its guardian? Incredible, incredible Himalayan quartz. Little mini you could take this with you everywhere. It's been imprinted with our master skull, Tef, which is one of the most powerful and intriguing skulls in the world. I'll show you Tef. Tef is also a Himalayan quartz. And I've had this one for a long time, ever since the 90s. And it's been to sacred spots in the world and everything. So you could find skulls imprinted by this on my website. And look at I don't know if you guys can see the rainbow all up in here because of it's got rainbow all up in here as well. This is the elongated Himalayan quartz. highly detailed as well. And this was carved in Nepal. Beautiful. I got this in the 90s. I got that elongated skull and this elongated skull were my two first skulls in the 90s. And they're my two master skulls, two of my master skulls. This is my Labradorite master skull. This is Omega's Lee. And we got Labradorites available as well. And Lee has amazing tribal lines going out, deliberately carved like that. The detail is intense on this one. And I don't know how it happened, but over the years, more Labradorite flash has been emerging as I'm bringing it to certain ancient dolmens. Yes, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Let me put this aside for right now. And of course, I also have master skulls in all different types of crystals. Like this is one of my master skulls, orange calcite. This is a human sized. Actually, this is a little bit bigger than human size. And then I have a few other master skulls, like my smoky quartz master skull. This is Tago. And his buddy's got the pineal gland rainbow as well. And he's got rainbow all throughout. I mean, look at that, all the rainbow. Beautiful. Beautiful. And we also got the quartz with hematite or fire quartz embedded in it. I have a few like this. These are really amazing as well. We're about to get into today's topic in a minute, everybody. We got an amazing topic for you guys. But before we get started, I got to show you guys the new product I have available, not even up on the website. So if somebody wants to claim it now at a discounted rate, they can claim it right now. One is already sold. There's two new large skulls, not human size or anything, but they're I would say medium size, right? They're not mini ones. They're about hand size. There's two of them, but one has already been claimed by my brother Sean out there, the Starlight Rose Quartz one. That one has already been claimed. But we have another one of Druzy, Amethyst, and Agate hybrid mixed together. And this has been programmed by myself, a Reiki healer, and a master skull worker for a few decades. I have imprinted this skull for opening up your crown chakra, or if you want to call it a chakra, your crown, opening up for psychic awareness, for psychic abilities, for ESP, for higher sensitivity, right? For spiritual awareness, psychic awareness, just opening up your higher self connection as well, right? So you'll see why it's been programmed for that in a second. So this is the one that's available. And it's a geode, and it's got the Druzy geode open up on top of the skull for opening up your crown chakra. Let me see if I can get a good light for you guys. Really incredible, sparkly Druzy in there. You guys get a good view of this? This is a beautiful amethyst and agate. Look at the agate markings on the bottom there. You can see the beautiful amethyst and agate crystal skull, one of the highest qualities you can get in the world, triple A grade quality. Look at the beautiful color. This is the actual color when it's not getting dosed with all the light from the laptop. Look at that. Insane crystal skull here, a lifelong companion that you can be a guardian of. Look at that. Just insane. This is not even up on the website. It was just finished today, carved by the Mystical Spiral team. Beautiful work here. So if anybody's interested in that, let me know throughout the show, and you guys can claim this before it even goes to my website. Beautiful, beautiful addition to any Reiki healing or crystal collector or gem collector. Look at that. Basically a gem skull. Insane. This will help also chase away nightmares and help you fulfill your dreams. Really incredible energy. The other one, this one has already been claimed. I'll show you guys real quick. I don't know if the video is actually going to give you guys the gist of how great these are with with the laptop video, but this is a Starlight Rose Quartz. For those people that don't know what Starlight Rose Quartz is, it's where they have these circular rings that are like flash that oh man, I'll show you what Starlight Rose Quartz is on a sphere real quick. So it has these luminous rings that go around it. This is a Starlight Rose Quartz sphere. And I don't know if you guys can even see the flash that goes around it, but you guys can probably look up online to get a better view of it from this video. Won't show you really good, but Starlight Rose Quartz is really a very rare type of high-end rose quartz. Very highly sought after, and not many skulls in the world that you find of Starlight Rose Quartz. And can you guys see the flash gleaming off of this? This is a very high quality Starlight Rose Quartz crystal skull. This has already been claimed. It's got rainbow and flash all throughout. Look at that. Insane. Insane. Already been claimed. Will be shipping out tomorrow. That's why if you guys go to my Patreon and subscribe, you guys will get also first dibs to products before they're available on my website. All right. So that's what today's podcast is sponsored by, of course, the mystical spiral store.com. If you guys have also websites of your own that you'd like to collaborate with or maybe promote my website and I can give you guys a shout out and promote yours, you guys contact me. I'm willing to discuss, you know, co-promoting other people's works as well. So I'm interested in other people's creativity and other people's art, especially if it has to do with energy work as well. If you guys even go to my Patreon, um, on my Patreon, I have some graphs that you guys can use for manifesting, for energy work. This is for broadcasting, right? I have these plates that you guys can print out. Also um for broadcasting and radionics, paper radionics, right? Um, I have these right up on my Patreon, patreon.com/the mystical spiral. This is for protection and for broadcasting. And you guys can basically do your own paper radionics machine because, in my opinion, people making these healing devices where you got to plug the device into Wi-Fi and 5G, that's how is that helping you? Right? Oh, these healing apps. An app that has to do with healing? Doesn't that kind of like an oxymoron? Am I an oxymoron, right? So, in my opinion, you shouldn't have to plug something into an outlet for yeah, for you to get like for the device to be healing in that way, like especially if you're connecting it to online, right? Not that all electricity is bad, but if you're hooking it up to like radiation, even I mean, you go to the outlet, there's radiation coming out of the outlet, right? You could use your little EMF tester here and you could check. There's a lot of radiation pumping out. And I've done tests with tensor coils, harmonizers, different things in front of them, and I know what can block a little bit of it and what can't. And it's really not good, I would say, to have apps that you're using for scanning your body or healing or you know, being in communion with your biosystem, right? It's bad enough that we have phones in our hand constantly and that we're all looking at them all day long and things like that. But to use it also for healing, it just doesn't sound right for me. So in my opinion, a lot of the radionics machines, I think it would be good for people to try the paper radionics as well. I'm not bad rapping anything but there's different machines out there where they're also hooking up to an app or some sort of even some frequency generators out there. Yeah, you got to plug the adapter, of course, into the wall, but some of them have it where they're also hooking up to like the computers and they're downloading different things and they're hooking up to apps and things like that. I wouldn't recommend merging those two together. And paper radionics works very, very powerful. In fact, my buddy, he moved to Japan already now, and I haven't talked to him in a while, but he was a friend of mine. I haven't really been in conversation with him in a while, but Masaki used to make these little radionics cubes. I mean, circle, they're little spheres, but they have similar to a tower buster, and you can use them on the radionics machines. So those are as really well for manifest. And just be careful when you manifest in general, though. Um, what you're asking for, what you're trying to manifest, because there are a lot of materialistic, greedy vibes get put into that, where it becomes about money and it becomes about, you know, just monetary value. And that's really not what it's meant for. It's really not what it's meant for, because a lot of the forces that bring monetary gain have a lot of negative energies attached to it and selfish energies attached to it, right? So it's what's up, Isaac? It's really dangerous when you're using radionics for manifesting cash, right? I highly suggest that's not your priority when you're manifesting. Welcome, Isaac. So glad you are here, Isaac. Isaac, did you see the new skull that just got finished? Check this out. For those that are just joining, this is for opening up the crown chakra. This is a hybrid of amethyst and agate. Incredible. And you got the Druzy geode all open on the top right here. Insane. Check that out. Well, it looked like auroras came in when I stepped over here as well in the corner of the screen. That was pretty cool. So, what are we talking about tonight? This is episode 36. Yeah, this is available. Not even up on my website, everybody. It just was finished today. The other one was already claimed by one of my patrons. I have another one the same size, but it's of Starlight Rose Quartz, but that has already been claimed. Starlight Rose Quartz is one of my favorite types of quartz. This is the Starlight Rose Quartz for those that are just joining us. It's got the flash all over it. It's like a gleaming flash all over. See it? All over. Beautiful. I love Starlight Rose Quartz. This one's got rainbow all throughout it as well. I know there's a big rainbow spot here. Really hard to see but just highest quality rose quartz you can get. Really highly sought after. It's called Starlight Rose Quartz. And one of my favorite spheres that I own is this bad boy. I have it on a gold pedestal as well. I don't want to take the gold pedestal down right now, but this is a Starlight Rose Quartz crystal ball. I have a big one and a smaller one as well. I have some Starlight Rose Quartz tumbles available for sale. I mean, and if people wanted to purchase my personal one that I've charged at sacred sites and things like that, you guys can contact me privately. I'm willing to discuss selling some of my personal collection. I've done it before, but of course they come at a little bit higher price and they come programmed as well, imprinted and programmed. I have some items that are programmed on the website, ignited and programmed. I have items that, of course, that are not programmed. It's up to your preference. But yeah, this is episode 36. I'm glad you guys are joining me this morning on the Space Water Podcast. Of course, we have some of the most groundbreaking information that you can find on my channel. Some of the work that I've been doing is decoding ancient mythology and ancient religious writings and scriptures and tablets that scholars have been debating over for hundreds of years. And I am your ancestral scribe, your ancestral guide, Rock Castaldo, returning to help people with the transmigration of souls for the next evolution of souls. We've lost the coordinates to heaven. We've lost the coordinates of the afterlife. We've lost our connection with the divine. We've lost our connection with the current of the cosmos, right? Literally, our spines, like our spinal current, the frequency that's pulsating out of us as humans, as a walking antenna, that spinal current is connected to the streams of light that's coming from the stars and the suns of the universe, right? We are all connected to the confluence of celestial ocean that we have. All these suns and stars are rivers of light, rivers and streams of plasma information that's coming down, sending out creation codes, sustenance codes, evolution codes, destruction codes, all of these codes to create, destroy, sustain, evolve, harmonize, right? All of this information is being sent through streams of light that are like rivers in the cosmos. These rivers, like I've talked about before, they form a confluence of one celestial ocean, right? Each sun and star can be considered a little god or an angel, with one main god being the universe presiding over it all. And then you have these attendants of the gods, right? You have these sentient plasma beings that form structures and form certain things in the light to broadcast, accelerate, channel, stream, and make this network of light work, right? I'm trying to also break some of the advanced knowledge that you have and terminology that you have both in science and spirituality, and break it down in a way where anyone that's listening can sort of grasp. Of course, some of the things that I'm talking about, you have to have a basic knowledge in some mythology and ancient writings, but I try to break it down and explain certain things where pretty much anyone can try to grasp it. I know some of it is high level, and it's a high level conversation when I get into certain things, but it's very important that we understand this, especially because the times that we're in is very I mean, it's very crucial. It's crucial because some of the mistakes and some of the things that has transpired over the planet in the past is about to come again. It's about to happen again. And we can see that it all has to do with the vibration of humanity, the vibration of the planet, right? And how that affects and is in commune with the sun and ultimately the universe, right? So, one of these attendants of the gods that we find in Vedic is the Maruts, right? The Maruts can also be like sort of lumped in with some of the mythology that you have with dawn maidens or swan maidens or water nymphs or wind gods, rain gods. Um, you know, you also have certain deities in Vedic and Hindu, like the Aditas or the Ashwins, or even in Greek, I think it's the Erinyes, right? These all have to do with like cosmic wind and cosmic rain and cosmic storms, right? But more specifically, they have to do with solar rain, solar storms, and how this is ultimately connected to both the physical and spiritual uh, people on the planet. just the spiritual vibe and the physical vibe going on Earth. That's why some of the Maruts are seen as even earthly seers, because the seers are the ones that are communicating with these energies, these sentient forms of life that we truly don't understand at this current state in humanity, right? So you have some of these ancient seers that were communicating with the cosmos, and they knew the spiritual significance to the climate of of space, to the space weather, and how space weather affects the climate, both physical and spiritually, of humanity, right? And the Maruts are very mysterious, very enigmatic, and we're going to go deep decoding who these Maruts are. You have everybody from Velikovsky to Vedic scholars, all these different scholars debating over what they think the Maruts actually are, right? When you go into Immanuel Velikovsky, who was a scholar, I think he was a doctor. You have one of his books. One of the great things about my podcast is too is I bring out references. I show you guys that I'm not going on Google Earth or Wikipedia to get my information, right? I have a whole library of an archive of research and books that that are some of the best references and resources that you can use out there. So one of the things about my podcast and even my Patreon is I put the book recommendations. I show you guys where the references are coming from. And there's also things that I pull in and activate. I'm guided through my research. It's almost a form of automatic writing, right? And my wife can even tell you I do a form of automatic writing and drawing where I do a certain way where things just come spiritually in. I'm not channeling, I'm not letting anything step in. It's just me communicating with the light, right? Me communicating with the cosmic consciousness that we are all able to connect to, right? Especially in dream time, right? Dream time is where we are traveling the cosmos. We are traveling the dimensions, right? And sometimes it has to do specifically with your psyche and what's going on in your psyche, but there's a deeper form of sleep where your soul can literally, in a sense, leave your body and travel through the alternate realities and alternate dimensions that we have that are connected in this multi-dimensional system that we live in. This planetary system that we live on is multi-layered and possibly infinitely layered, right? And there's certain alternative realities that are very close to Earth that you experience during dream time, right? And there's a difference between just a regular dream and a lucid dream, a psychic dream, if you want to say. These psychic dreams tend to wake you up out of your dreams, right? And I keep a dream log. Actually, I had a very interesting travel the other night. Um, and I'm not going to read it to you right now. Maybe we'll do a separate show on dream travels. But I have to jot some of them down because as we start you know, live in our day, some of it starts to seep away. But some of them are so profound and so vivid, so real that they stay with you. They stay with you sometimes forever, right? But if you tend to write it down and then you review it every once in a while, then you'll remember and more maybe will come to you, right? Um, yeah, Velikovsky, he thought the Maruts were meteors, which it's interesting, and he thought they were meteors from Mars. Well, Mars is actually the root you get from Maruts, right? The Mars name is developed right from Maruts, but I actually think it's more possible, even from the remote viewings if you want to call them remote viewings or just psychic viewings that I've done, that Mars could have been part of our binary sun system at one time. Even Mars is that red-brown dwarf color, right? I know it sounds ridiculous to some, but it could possibly be that what's the asteroid belt now was remnants of a bigger part of Mars. You got between Mars and Jupiter, you have this asteroid belt. What if Mars was once a sun, our binary sun? And there's proof that we can get into. Maybe later in the show, we'll do this about the 79-year swinging cycle of the sun and of Mars. And this has to do with the, there's what's the guy's name? I have it. Oh yeah, here we go. So the guy's name was it's the Tychos theories, right? Where um it has to do basically with the oscillatory the motion, the center of mass of the solar system and the sun's motion, right? And they basically call it like the swinging sun 79-year cycle. And you guys can go look up Theodore Lanchette. He lived from 1927 to 2004. He was like a controversial guy in mainstream science circles, but he has this very interesting theory that goes along with the Tycho's theory that has to do with Mars possibly being a sun at one time. And there's a lot of information and evidence that I found that actually supports this. And the Maruts, Orange County, New York, yeah, it's not too far from where I am. I actually lived in Orange County, New York for a few years. I lived in Middletown. But Orange County, New York is north of me now. I live closer to New York City now. I grew up closer to New York City, but as an adult for a few years, I lived in Middletown, which is in Orange County. It's right on Pine Bush. That's like one of the UFO hotspots. I also live in another UFO hotspot right now along the Hudson River, but I'm in the Haverstraw, Stony Point, Rockland County area now. So I grew up in this area. This is the lower Hudson Valley where I am. That's more upstate Orange County, New York. Yeah, I'm about 40 minutes from there right now. But I'm like close to the like Westchester County, Rockland County. Yeah, Orange County is the next county up. So, but yeah, you guys can go look up the Tychos theory. It's spelled Tychos, and this has to do with, you know, possibly Mars being part of what once was a binary system of our solar system, which I think for sure was. Arguing what was the binary is another. Some people think it could have been Venus. Some people think it could have been uh one of the Sirius stars, people have said and things like this. But I think it's quite possible and more likely that it was Mars. And I know it's unfathomable for certain astronomers to think that, but I found a lot of evidence to support it. I don't want to, we'll do a whole separate show on that. But the Maruts, of course, link to Mars by name. But the Maruts, if you look into the context, they are birthed by the sun. They are birthed by Rudra. Rudra is a solar deity that has to do with the sound of the sun, the roaring, howling force of the sun. And this is Rudra. And Maruts are developed by Rudra. Rudra is the parent of the Maruts. And Maruts are described as manifold throughout the cosmos and Earth. Now, what does that mean? That means there's many of them, right? They're numerous and they can go anywhere, right? They're talked about as being anywhere on the Earth and anywhere in the cosmos, and they're manifold, right? So they're also described as um wearing luminous golden rings. So this throws out the asteroid, right? Now, coronal mass ejections, solar flares are luminous golden rings. And when you have Maruts who have to do with solar wind, they have to do with a military force from the sun. They are the terrible ones. There's a chapter in Velikovsky. You got to go to Worlds in Collision, page 280, the chapter on the terrible ones. Now, like I said, he talks about these terrible ones as being meteors. I do think he's wrong about the meteor part, but he is right about them being a force coming from our solar system, right? And they are terrible ones. Now, he talks about, these swarms of meteorites uh, and in bands and taking various shapes they made in uncanny, which followed Mars closely, like, you know, see, he also talks about his Indra being a comet, right? And I actually think maybe in some references you can use Indra as a comet, but in my opinion, Indra is a solar lightning, solar discharge force, like the thunderbolts of the gods. People, they got that part right. It's a thunderbolt coming from the sun. And Vritra, that's described as stealing the cattle of Indra, I have decoded as being the magnetotail, right? And he has to pierce the magnetotail to release the cosmic waters. And that's all deep, deep evidence right there. But let's get into these Maruts, right? So we have Emmanuel Velikovsky talking about them as meteors, right? But we got Roccastaldo saying that they are the coronal mass ejection, then the solar wind, and the intelligent forms of sentient plasma that make this all happen, right? They are the military force riding within the solar wind, right? And they can take any form when the light, they can manifest and push themselves into matter, right? They are carrying all these charged particles and all of these bacteria. They have codes within them, right? Literally, they're in a part going on where there's magnetic reconnection. Now you literally have portals that are opening from the sun, from the sun to Earth, and this has been proven by NASA. All right, these portals open up within our magnetosphere. Right, they open up to let light in, to let the Maruts in. Right, and they describe this in such a beautiful way in some of their appearance, right, and but they use these earthly descriptions because that's a great way of mythology to be passed around both in through oral tradition, through hymns and mantras, and this is also how they were aligning to the streams of light through hymn and mantra form. The literal language of Sanskrit, the sounds, the different ways of pronouncing the sounds, they're mimicked off the primal sounds of nature and the universe, right? Literally connecting you to the sounds of the sun. The Om is the heartbeat of the sun. The aum, aum. You're literally connecting to the heartbeat of the sun, the pulsations, the sound of the light, right? And this is what we decode here on the Space Water podcast. We are decoding the sound of the light. And the Maruts are what broadcasts the light, but they're bringing the storms of the sun. They're bringing the wreckage that can come from the sun, the chastisements. Even in the Quran, you have this name that comes out of Vedic. Who would have thought, right? Well, in the Quran, you have the Marut and Harut, these two angels that come down in the Quran to teach Babylon. They taught them things, right? Where is it in we have the Quran, right? You guys can look into the Holy Quran and the Maruts. I think it's in the second part of the Quran here. Um, we got I also in my mystical spiral channel. Let me look up real quick on so I can look in the book where it is. Yeah, it's in chapter 2, verse 102. You know, let me get this in the Quran. Chapter 2, verse 102. I'll read you guys the verse where these Maruts and Harut, they're like two angels that appear. And I'm pretty sure they like taught things to Babylon, right? To the people of Babylon here, right here. They're the messengers of the sun. This is 102 in chapter 2. Bakwara. I think the name of the chapter is Al Bakwara. El Bakwara. So 102, and I'm sure I'm butchering the Arabic. I don't study Arabic that much. Uh, but uh verse 102 in chapter 2. And now when there has come to them a messenger from Allah, fulfilling that which is with them, a party of the people to whom the book was given have thrown the book of Allah behind their backs as if they knew it not, and they pursue the course which the rebellious men followed during the reign of Solomon. And Solomon did not disbelieve, but it was the rebellious ones who disbelieved, teaching people falsehood and deception. And they pursue what was revealed to the two angels in Babylon, Harut and Marut. But these two taught no one until they had said, "We are but a trial. Do not therefore disbelieve." So men learnt from them that by which they made a difference between a man and his wife. But they harmed no one thereby, except by the command of Allah. On the contrary, these people are learning that which would harm them and do them no good. And they have certainly known that he who traffics therein has no share of good in hereafter. And surely evil is that for which they have sold their souls, had they but known. Right? So what is going on here? Incredible, the Marut and the Harut story with these two angels. They were basically sent to Babylon to teach people witchcraft and magic, right? And they use these words Marut and Harut in it. And but they were also saying that this was a warning, telling people to not abandon their faith, basically giving magic as some sort of trial for humanity, as they say. Some people say it's a caution about using magic and misusing the knowledge, and I think it's more of that. It's a warning of chastisements, right? And they were warning them against their actions and how a solar event will be coming, right? And this is repeated throughout so much. You have the Fatima, you have all of these Marian apparitions, right? You have all of these events where people were shown chastisements, Anna Maria Taigi, right? And most of the channelings have to do with a solar force, a solar connection, right? Yeah, the Carrington event was in 18, I think it was 1859 or 1879. Yeah, 1859, right? Well, I do think in 2025 we're gonna have way bigger than the Carrington event, right? It's gonna be most likely it'll be it could be climate changing, like ice age triggering and things like this. I've talked about it. But the Maruts, they have a beautiful description. They talk about how they're wearing luminous rings, right? So let me show you from these are pictures I'm going to have in my own book. Um, so this is from a museum in Paris. These are one of the depictions of the Maruts. Of course, if you've been following my work and my series on the Space Water podcast, you guys know that when you have cattle, this talks about the rays of light. So when you see a bull or a cattle in ancient writings or ancient symbolism and mythology, it's almost 100% sure the context you're talking about here is solar context. These are solar attributes with these earthly representations that you're seeing. These earthly people that you see, these earthly animals that you see are only references to cosmic phenomenon, cosmic intelligences. So when you see a bull or a cow, that literally translates as both the waters of the heavens and the rays of light of the heavens, and how they're both the same, that the light and the waters are one. The light travels like waters through the heavens. This is the origins of the Sumerian handbasket that everybody has been debating about. Now, you see on the Marut, these are golden rings that they wear around their arms, also carrying the water jug or the soul of heavens, right? So, this is talking about how the very spirit and soul travels through the heavens on the cosmic waters, and also how these coronal rings, these solar luminous golden rings, as they're described, are carrying and traveling with the waters of the heavens, right? They're traveling on and carrying the waters of the heavens. And of course, look, you see a flaming torch, and look at the bell structure here. The flower that I've talked about before, this bell structure that you see, and I've talked about it in my other podcasts. I could show you guys where I've talked about this bell structure, and you can see it here in most symbolisms, right? You can see it here with the Apis bull, this bell structure, right? And Apis, of course, is the waters of the heavens. And you can see these cones of light form in many ways throughout the heavens. Even time forms in a light cone, right? You have this, it's the way light is broadcasted throughout the heavens in conical structure and in bell structure, right? And you guys can also see this bell structure like I've shown in you got like the pulsar waves. These are structures that form to stream the light, to channel the light, to broadcast the sound of the light, right? And these bell structures, they form and they're shown by all solar deities. They're in everything pretty much, right? And they're also the shape of stupas. And you also can see the bell structure that forms on the bottom here, just from the lens flare. When light is streaming, these bell structures form, right? Even for supernova pulsars, like the Crab Nebula here. These are two different pulsars. This is the Crab Nebula and the Vela pulsar, right? Two different ones. And this is just similar structures, these bell-like structures that form to broadcast the light, to stream the sound of the light. That's why when you see pictures of the Maruts like this, with these so-called lotus flowers, right? They are actually talking about the structures that form within the plasma. Like when you have a flame coming out of this flower, right? Like, and this is very common, the flaming torch, right? It's just misunderstood symbology because you can't do it through scholarship alone. You also need the knowledge of an adept or spiritual initiate. And this is what this knowledge was meant for. It was not meant for the everyday person. Now, they appear and they are manifold. They are numerous and they can travel all over the heavens, these Maruts. They are able to assume any form, right? This is what's described about them in the Vedas and in the Hindu writings. And they might even appear as them by themselves, or they are made to appear, but they seem to appear within. And their appearance is described as shining, a ray of light, shining with powers to control, shimmering, intricate, well adorned like mottled deer, golden. They have golden visors and rings that they wear, and shining golden plates on their breast. They are sparkling like warriors. They can be clearly seen, but are ungraspable like a flame, right? They also, in the Rig Veda, verse 3, 26:5 states that the Maruts have rain for a garment. And we're talking about solar rain, cosmic rain. right? And they can be understood as that an expression of B endorphin accompanies a presence of captivating, inspiring daydreams. Incredible, right? It is their direct or straight appearances that are emphasized. An appearance of Maruts is causing fear, right? Their movements, the seat or abode of Maruts is in the heavens. It says this clearly in Vedic writing, right? Whether it's highest, middlest, or lowest, they encompass all of the heavens. They go throughout all. And this was what coronal solar flares and solar wind does. They travel interstellar, right? And they are even more specifically near the vault of heaven. This is from Rig Veda 185 7b. They stay on the mountain, right? This is talking about the magnetosphere, right? Where they're either near or more specifically near or at the vault of heaven, right? This is right at the cusp where earth meets the heavens, right? Sometimes they stay on the mountain. This is an expression of the dynamic landscapes within the magnetosphere. It's a mountainous and hilly region, right? And it changes. It changes according to the solar wind. The wind, which is the Maruts, is what forms the magnetosphere. It's what makes the magnetosphere and forms the structure that it is. The roaring force of the solar wind, aka the Maruts, is what forms the shield around heaven. It is the golden breastplate that they wear. The golden breastplate that they wear is the symbolism of the protection that it can bring and the destruction that it brings, that it's a warrior of the sun, right? And sometimes, like I said, they stay on the mountain, but when they set out, they mostly emerge from the heavens, right? And this is clearly written in Vedic writing. I'm not making this up, but they might come from the intermediate space. They arise easily, and their movements are agile, swift, quick as lightning, moving quickly, hasting, or even darting. Their movements are compared to the flight of birds or the flow of streaming waters. The movements of these Maruts are also characterized as being completely volatile, right? And changing direction often, like a cosmic fire, going here and there. I mean, come on, people. This is incredible. These are not meteorites, Velikovsky. This is the solar wind and the destructive forces of the sun, the warrior aspect of the sun. They fly through intermediate space, as they talk about in Rig Veda 8, 735b. They crossing the regions, traversing earthly needs and compulsions of the bodies. This is from Rig Veda 1, 39c, 39 3 CD. Moving up to the region, rising upwards like mad conceptions, they move along their course together with winds. Incredible. And you guys can find that in Rig Veda 139 5c. Lightning and rays seem to be their running easily chariots, right? They are rays and lightning moving like chariots. And chariots, what do they have? They're spinning wheels of the sun. This is what coronal mass ejection loops are, wheels that break off of the sun, twisting magnetic field lines that form wheels or loops or ankhs, and they break off of the sun. They're darted off the sun. And these Maruts, they cause fear. And the seat or abode of these Maruts is clearly in the heavens, right? Clearly in the heavens. Really incredible, right? And the means in which they move are their solar chariots, right? Their dappled mares. When you see cattle references or horse references, this has to do with the sun. When you see mares or horses and antelopes, they move, or all of this stuff, it has to do with the stampeding forces of the sun, the bull of the heavens, right? The stampede of the horses, right? This is the strong military forces of the sun. Yes, peaceful penguin. And then, like I said, they come from the heavens. They are mighty. They are strong. They are self-strong, self-strong. Also, a lot of these uh solar deities like Kepra and Egyptian, where they're self-produced, like the scarab, right? The scarab gods. They're self-produced and self-maintained. This is like the sun. The sun is literally powering itself, producing its own energy. It's self-contained, right? It's an incredible description, right? And they are shining ones, and they're able to assume any form. They are manifold, like their mother Prisne. They have various representations, and they are able to assume any form, right? Like I mentioned earlier, they literally have the cosmic rain as their garment, right? And they are energetic, possessing all sorts of forceful energies, bursting forth like light. They can't be and are not to be constrained. They are sovereign and in control. They are full of fervor. They have vigor. They are unceasing. They are enthusiastic, spirited, good fighting spirit, and they seek to join battles. Right? This is all from the Vedic writing. All from the Vedic writing. That is from Rig Veda 185 8b. I usually use the Rig Veda because this is the oldest of the Vedas. And this is when the Asura and the Devas were in harmony in the earlier Rig Veda. Later in the Rig Veda, they're at war, and they go over war over the spotted cow, over the rays of light of the sun, right? And the Maruts are boisterous, they are noisy, they are uh, products of Rudra, right? They are called the Rudras themselves, and Rudra is the howler of the sun. He's the storm of the sun, right? And they are connected through words, through through chants, through mantras, right? And they are companions, or at least compared to the spokes of a wheel. How incredible is that? They are literally part of the coronal mass ejection and the wheel of the sun, right? It literally says this in the Vedic writings, right? They are companions. They are compared to the spokes of a wheel, and there is no first or last of them, right? And that they point outwards from the same center, and that they are held together. There are brothers with no eldest or youngest among them. It's incredible. Incredible. They fit each other and they act in harmony with each other. And despite the similarity and relatedness to each other, the Maruts remain apart through differing representations, and some groups of them are pointed at as separate from others. This is very incredible. Specific storms and rays of light are communicating with different specific regions of the planet, different regions of the magnetosphere that let these holes in. These are magnetic doorways formed through magnetic reconnection, right? You literally have these portals that are opening up from the sun to earth, and the Maruts are the ones behind these mental uh friggin' what's the word I'm looking for? Like military, not agenda, but a military, I forget the word I'm using, but like it's some sort of military not exercise, but you know, whatever it's called, and they have extraordinary illuminating power. And another thing about them that they talk about is they disclose and reveal all terrestrial realms and luminous spheres of the heavens. This is in Rig Veda 8, 94, 9. Rig Veda 8, verse 94, line 9, right? They have schemes for contemplations, and their seer is Indra. They are adept of an Asura, Rudra, and they are Asuras themselves. And you could find this clearly written in Rig Veda 8, 27, 20a, right? So what does this mean? They are militarized. They are the warriors of the sun. And they are opening up doorways for that military campaign. That's the word I was looking for. That military campaign to infiltrate Earth, right? To infiltrate and carry out the agenda of the sun. And this is decoding Maruts like you've never heard before, right? They are the golden luminous loops and winds of the sun. They are agents of change. This is what they do. Their power is to transform. They transform this planet. And they are agitating again and again and again and again and again. They agitate the heaven and the earth and they fix them apart. They shake off the limits and vigorously tear down obstacles. Now, this is very important because this is described as the golden noose of the gods, just like the Pasha, just like what Ganesha wields. Ganesha wields and Varuna. Varuna is the god of the solar ocean, literally. And he wields the Varuna Pasha, which literally is a golden noose that comes from the sun and lassos souls and pulls them into the celestial waters. How beautiful and poetic is that, right? And then you have Ganesha. When he wields his Pasha, first he releases this, they move like snakes through the cosmos. Even Garuda, when he eats these snakes, he fights off these snakes, he eats these snakes that's coming. He's the magnetosphere that's guarding the planet, shielding the planet with his wings. And he's eating the plasma, the solar emissions, right? And the Naga and the Garudas, they both come from the same place. They're brothers, they're relatives. They're both coming from the sun, but they're also at war because you got the solar emissions and the magnetosphere going to battle, right? And when the Maruts is right up in this battle, right? They're right up in this battle. They are like the Pasha. They are part of the Ankh. They are part of the coronal mass ejection and solar flare, where they can literally remove the evil on earth with their golden lasso. They remove obstacles. They shake the naughty ones. That's how it's described in Rig Veda 3:26, line 4D, right? They shake the naughty ones. Do you guys realize how incredible that statement is? They shake the naughty ones. The naughty ones is the twisting magnetic field lines that form these loops. That is incredible. Oh my God. They're riding on a ray of light and they shake the naughty ones, riding on their solar cow. What? What? Incredible. They shake celestial places of existence and the celestial sheath. They are sprinkling abundantly and together, right? They swell the spring, the waters, and the rich juice. They discharge a fountain of fire for thirsty Gautama. They make the ground swell with the juice and drench the earth with the juice of honey. Of course, honey is golden, right? A golden substance that's coming down, and it's sweet, right? And it also talks about Rig Veda 2, verse 34, the Maruts envelope streams and carry the waters. They bind the rain and blow over the Rodas with it, right? These images talk about that they bring raining solar weather, right? They're sweating from the sun, right? They also caused certain kings to be born, certain seers to be born. And they're often mentioned together with Rudra and Indra, and they're even called his companions. Indra being called their companions in many verses, right? And the Maruts, they strengthen Indra in his battle. They help with his gleaming golden spheres and lightning bolts as weapons. They are reinforcing attendance of the gods. And they are helping in dire straits bulls, right? They are helping the roaring bull of the sun. They are protectors in battles and they guard against the injuries. They fend off deadly weapons, they drive off hostilities, right? They can guard against and dispel curses. And they also provide an unimpeding path. They uncover cows. That means they uncover the rays of light, right? If you guys also want to get amazing mythology, one of my favorite series of books is the mythology of the Aryan nations by George Cox. Not Cox. He said Cox. And this was written in 1870, everybody. 1870, and there's a series of them. You got volumes 1 and 2, right? And this is the second copies I've bought of this because I had the original. I have one of the original hardcovers upstairs and it's beat up and it's like falling apart. But I had bought the reprints. In book two, you can go to page 221 in book 2. They have a chapter on Vayu and the Maruts, the winds. Of course, he doesn't mention plasma and the stuff that I'm mentioning, but in his own way, he's saying very similar stuff. Right? The god of the bright heaven, who is known as Dayu, Indra, and Agni, is also called Vayu. Now, Vayu has to do with the solar winds. I have decoded this. I am the next stage of scholars like George Cox and Arthur Bernard Cook, who wrote the volumes on Zeus that I have all here. I'm the next stage of researcher. I'm adding the next layer, right? Incredible. They're just talking about some of the mythologies, of the Maruts. He's not decoding them in any way, but he's not telling you exactly what they mean or anything like that. He's relaying some of these mythologies, right? Maruts have anklets or ringlets of gold, he talks about, and they are pure waters and shine from their chariots, lightnings blazing with fire glow in their hands, and golden tiaras towering on their heads. They are glittering and spears and daggers and lightnings all in one, right? Incredible. And Rudra being the father of the Maruts, the wielder of the thunderbolt. This is Rudra, and this is way before any thunderbolts of the gods. I mean, you guys can see this all in here, right? Incredible. And you can find that chapter right in book 2 of The Mythology of the Aryan Nations by George Cox. And they are also talking about the auroras. And the auroras are living sentient intelligences of the sun. And they literally come in through portals. They literally come in through portals from the sun to the moon. Do you realize how far the sun is and how those auroras are literally sent from a portal from the sun to earth? They come from that portal and they appear right from the solar wind and everything as well. Like, this is an incredible distance something is traveling directly to earth. And yes, we see them in the form of auroras. That's the kind of matter that we're seeing them in. But the intelligence behind that, you guys can't even fathom. We all can't fathom. I can't fathom. We all can't truly grasp. We are just getting little trickles of information coming through, right? But the auroras are talked about as being alive all through mythologies. I mean, look at what we got here. Let's get one of the First Nation legends, right? So This is a book by J.J. Woodman. This was written in 1924 by the Stratford Company by J.J. Woodman. This is Native American or Indian legends, right? So they have the legend of the auroras in here, the Northern Lights, and it's an Ouija tale, a Ouija trail, the tale. I always have a problem saying the name. The Ouija, Aweebwas, Aweebwa tribe, Aweebwa tribe. I almost said. But this is the story of the Northern Lights, and they're talked about as manitos, spirits, right? Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So these manitos are living spirits. All right. How long is this? Should I read it real quick? Yeah, it's really quick. I'll read it. A little orphan boy who had no one to care for him was once living with his uncle who treated him very badly, making him do hard things and giving him little to eat, so that the boy pined away and never grew much and became through hard usage very thin and light. At last, the uncle felt ashamed of this treatment and determined to make amends by fattening him up. But his real object was to kill him by overfeeding. He told his wife to let him have plenty of bear's meat and of the fat, which is thought to be the best of the bear. They were both very assiduous in cramming him, and one day came near choking him by forcing the fat down his throat. The boy fled from the lodge and escaped. He knew not where to go, but wandered about all day, and at night, for fear of wild beasts, he climbed up into a tree and fell asleep, and had a opaway, or ominous dream. A person appeared to him from the sky, and said, "My poor lad, I pity you. The hard usage you have had from your uncle, this has led me to visit you. Follow me, and step in my tracks." Immediately his sleep left him, and he rose up and followed his guide, mounting up into the air until he reached the sky. Here 12 arrows were put into his hands, and he was told that there were many manitos in the northern sky. According, accordingly, wait, he was told there were many manitos in the northern sky, against whom he must go to war, to waylay, and to shoot them. Accordingly, he went to that part of the sky, and at long intervals he shot an arrow until he had expended 11 in a vein, attempting to kill the manitos. At the flight of each arrow, there was a long, solitary streak of lightning in the sky, then all was clear again, not a cloud to be seen. The 12th arrow he held long time in his hands, watching on every side to see the manitos he was after, but these manitos were very cunning and could change their form in a moment. All they feared was this boy's arrows, for they were magic arrows, given to him by a good spirit, and had the power to kill them if it aimed all right. At length the boy drew up his last arrow, and taking his best aim, let it fly, as he supposed, right into the heart of the chief of the manitos. But before the arrow reached him, he changed himself into a rock. Into this rock the arrow sank deep and stuck fast. "Now your gifts are all expended," said the enraged manito, "and I will make an example of your audacity and pride of heart for lifting your bow against me." And so saying, he turned the boy into the Nasika Wawasan, or lone lightning, which may be seen in the northern sky to this very day. Now, it is no doubt that this story is talking about the Maruts of Vedic. No doubt. No doubt. Almost every reference that they have in here of the descriptions of these manitos is also found in the description of the Maruts. Now, how would Native Americans have access to the Rig Veda? Especially of Ojibwa, that's the word. Ojibwa, that's how you say it. Ojibwa. Especially of an Ojibwa's, this is Canadian area, right? The Arctics even. Eskimos, even all this area. I mean, how would they have the Rig Veda? They don't. It's just universal knowledge. The spiritual seers, they tap into this. They know that the auroras are a sentient life force coming from the sun, right? They are the waters of the sun. Shout out to Inner Mystic 144, the Peaceful Penguin, Lynn Earthling, Isaac 9. Of course, you guys can support me right here in the super chat. You guys can support me at PayPal. You guys can go to the Mystical Spire, and don't forget to hit that like button, of course. Valley Tudo headbutt that like button. Give me a flying knee into that like button, and make sure you subscribe if you already haven't subscribed. This is research and information you literally can't find anywhere else, connecting the dots that scholars have been trying to connect for decades. Shout out to Magic Micah, Gemini Moon, Indigo 1111. Who else we got? Isaac 9, Dotology. Hi guys, sending good vibes. Good vibes to you, Dotology. Lynn Earthling. What's up, Lynn? The Peaceful Penguin. What's up, brother? Who else we got here? All my brothers and sisters out there, thank you for joining me. Thank you for the commentary. How long have we been going here so far? Because I could do a long show about these Maruts. Maruts. Let's once go to the share screen again so you guys can see a picture of these Maruts. Right? Incredible. And then we got another one right here from the bell shaped. Insane. And they're all wearing those luminous golden rings as ringlets or even on their ankles. See this? These are the golden rings of the gods, the same golden ring that Zoroaster is holding, right? Right? Really incredible. Really insane. The symbolism and the beautiful poetic writings about them, right? Yeah, so I went through they tear down obstacles, they shake the naughty ones. Insane. They move them back and forth. They shake celestial places of existence. Right? Oh, you're welcome, Lynn. And they are sprinkling abundantly and together, right? They envelope streams. They provide easy passages. They give protections and refuge. They give the gift of fighting spirit. You know, there's our seers that literally can channel these military energies of the sun. Now, when it comes to the Maruts and sacrifices, they are talked about as seeking the first of a sacrifice. And this is something that they share with Agni and Indra and Vayu. They are the ones deserving of a sacrifice. And this sacrifice doesn't always have to be something that is sacrificed. It could be like a sacrifice that you make in your life, right? Something that, you're doing every day. Like, so it's not always have to do with death or being unalived. They are talked about as being thirsty, right? Thirsty for soma to the point that they ravish it. And they get intoxicated and exhilarated by it. Of course, soma is the cosmic waters, the plasma waters, the ionized particles, the charged ionized waters, right? It's not only Agni who carries them, but they drink it. They carry it from this chalice cup, right? The bell that I talked about. These cups, these bells. and they purify the soma. They are like Indra and soma itself in possession of soma's residue. That's what they're talked about. It's incredible. And at a sacrifice, they receive loud praises before libations, before they pour out the waters in a symbolic reference to the waters of the heavens, right? They help by crushing those that have placed traps along the course of a sacrifice. Check that out. They crush those that have placed traps along the course of a sacrifice. Incredible. They also provide content for soma induced visions, right? For illuminations from the cosmic rays of light. They are purifying, they are giving off of powers. All of this. They are patrons of vision, right? They guide and excite visions from people. No doubt, peaceful penguin. And they create light, right? They bring right conceptions, they spark and develop uh ideas, and they find for worshippers mental space. They create light. Rig Veda 1:86:10, right? They for an intelligent man, they promote mind's obedience through a vision. And Maruts give a sacred formulation that achieves its purpose, right? Effective gestures, right? Gestures of the heavens. Wow. Wow. Now, check this out. This also talks about the magnetosphere and the magnetotail. So the Maruts extend a fence for the sake of their worshippers. This so called quote unquote fence is what makes the mind undisturbed by external or bodily stimuli. Ordinarily, it is stretched out in a sleep, but various devas can put it in place during other states of mind. What? That is incredible. That is incredible. And it talks about how they are devouring gaps. Insane. 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 I mean, I could go on and on with the Maruts. I have about 30 pages of writings. You guys can find me, of course, at the mysticalspiralstore.com. I don't know if you guys know, but we just put up a huge coupon code and we already have discounts up. So whatever sales are up, you can also take 15% off of those sales. We got all new items up as well. I mean, the package that you can get, some of these packages, $36.99 package for Labradorite, Heart, and Palmstone with a free gift and shipping included. And we got a lot of the $36.99 pendants you guys would love. These Spirit Flame Sphere Series pendants. Really amazing. And of course, we get the higher end ones as well. Oh, where did the new one didn't get posted? Man, I thought I posted the the new pendant I just made, the new amethyst one. I don't see it on here. Hold on, let me check. How did it not load? Yeah, you guys got to see some of these. Look at this green fluorite specimen. This one is so dope. It'll clear up in a second. Look at that. It's got rainbow. Yeah, it's up on the website. Hold on a second. There it is. Boom. I don't know why I couldn't see it at first, but here's the new one. This one is so worth it, everybody. Check this out. This is an amethyst gem wrapped in over 44 inches of twisted royal cubit copper. And you guys can see this bad boy is a tensor coil, royal cubit tensor coil, and it's wrapped around an amethyst gem, and it literally transforms in the light. You guys can see when you put it in the light, it literally transforms. Look at that. It's like summoning the light right there. And this is a lifelong companion. This will last a lifetime unless you lose it or rip it apart somehow, but it's very sturdy. You got nice thick copper and incredible. And not to mention how amazing conversation starters these pendants are. Anytime I've worn a pendant, whether it was to work or to the store or people, as soon as they see it, they talk about it. Right? It's energy attracting as well. It's just it's so worth it in so many ways. And right now you can get 15% off your orders. Shit, if you even if you wanted to pay for PayPal, which I'd rather people pay for by credit card because PayPal takes so much more out. And I got a stupid loan by PayPal a while ago, and now they take out a certain amount every time. And I should have never have done it. But you guys can pay for literally installments on PayPal if you wanted and get it for 19 bucks a month. Right? It's so worth it. You could get the higher end pendants like this one, or you could get the the pendants that are more affordable. All of them are high end pendants, though. They're using the highest quality. Just some like this one, these ones are made with gemstones, so they're more expensive because the gemstone is more expensive, and they have a lot more copper involved. So these are using the royal cubit measurement, and usually I do 2 royal cubits, which is over 44 inches of copper. And so that's how much copper is pretty much going into these pendants right here. So let me know if somebody doesn't see something that they want. I can also custom make it for you. So we got all sorts of items on there. And look at also in here, there's a lot more. Like when you go to crystals, you got all sorts of crystal balls, clusters, freeforms, palm stones, skulls, specimens, all of this. You got tensors, harmonizers, pendants, bracelets, and more. You got merch. We got some of the coolest merch, people. If you like the Space Water podcast, we're going to have Space Water podcast sweatshirts coming out soon. But right now, we have the spiral out ones. We even have champion sweatshirts of Spiral Out. These are champion sweatshirts, everybody. Really amazing. And they got Spiral Out on the front, and they got the Eye of Horus, Eye of Ra on the back. See? And they got see the champion symbol on them. Really dope. We also got the other sweatshirts. I have one of these. I really like these ones. Has the eye of Horus on the back and Spiral Out on the front, and I like the Spiral Out. Look, it's got like the cool breaking, like it's like marble almost inside of it. It's really cool. We got some of the best merch you can get, really high quality merch. These ones, this is my wife's favorite sweatshirt. She has one of these ones. And the cups are dope too. These are really comfy. And then we also have the mugs. I have one of those mugs. They're really cool as well. It's so dope. And we also have um the posters that you could buy. I have the one of these posters right up on the website. These ones are awesome too. These mugs. So cool. You guys can get all that right here at the Mystical Spiral store. And not only that, we have readings available. You guys can get readings from Crystal Skull readings from my Council of Skulls, all different types of readings. You can even get yearly readings where you get one or two a month, right? You could sign up for my yearly reading pro sessions right here. So where do I have it? Right here, yearly reading. And right now you can get 15% off. So that's a huge deal where you can help guide your life through your year through the readings. But guys, I highly recommend you take advantage of the 15% off while it's up for the holiday. And you can get, like I said, you got pendants, $36 pendants that are highly. This guy is so worth it. This cute little strawberry quartz with the tensor coil wrapped around it. Badass. Badass. Don't forget the mysticalspiralstore.com. Use the coupon code to get 15% off. Everybody, this is episode 36 of the Maruts, decoding the Maruts. I hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to have another podcast later today as well. So enjoy your morning, enjoy your Thanksgiving. And what do we say? Spiral out.